you and I were doing, I think it was 7 years ago when we started doing those breakouts about social media, when you and I were doing those conference. And you've always been very innovative in your trainings. So I know that maybe you could share a little bit too about, someone who's been in the business, that Jeff always talks about, things, concepts are constant, and there's always going to be new tools out there. But through those hard times and good times, what's really been keeping you going, and to keep the momentum that you've got going as well?
Yeah, Lauren, thanks for sharing. I enjoy doing that with you, and we'll always have a college football rivalry, but we're on the same team. So, what's amazing about this is Jeff and I can say, Mark and I can say, we're more excited today we were than the day we started, and y'all can think that's all propaganda. But I get up and I love what I do because I love the people in this business. But it has evolved and changed a lot. And I love using this story that when Lori and I got in this business, we were 22 and 23 years old. And 3 years into the business, we had a child, and he was born, and, you go to Lamaze classes, the child's born, you got the cameras out, you're taking pictures, and you leave the hospital, and 27 years ago when my son was born, we got home, we went to the Photoshop, we went and got pictures developed, we got envelopes out, we addressed the envelopes, and within 2 or 3 weeks, we were able to send a picture of our baby to 50 people, and, they got to see our beautiful new child. We were so excited. Well, my son last year, he has my first grandchild. So we're fast forward 30 years. I'm in the same business. But here's what happened. Within an hour of my grandson being born, I don't know the exact number, but I bet 30,000 people saw his picture on Facebook. And I didn't lick an envelope. I didn't lick a stamp. I didn't pay a dime to get a picture developed. And what people have to realize, that's the speed at which our business operates today if you choose to do that. And, you can still be going to the Photoshop and licking stamps, and you can still be working from a Rolodex with, names and stuff on a card, or you can work your Facebook list, you can work your contact list, and you've got instant access to the world today. Just look at what we're doing right now. And so, whether you're 50 years old or you're 19 years old on the call today, the same tools are available to all of us. You can let them intimidate you, or you can let them throttle your business to the top, and it's really your choice.
Well, and I have a question for you too, Curt. You've seen a lot of people, and you have a lot of tools that are available to people. I know through, through your website and such. But the difference between people that just are always learning and the people that are actually doing, right? Like, we get paid for 2.5 things, right? To get new customers, to get new distributors, to teach them to get customers, and then teaching them to do the same. So what have you noticed over these years? There's a lot of people who've been on the call, that are on the call right now, and maybe they're at SC or SSC and they've been there for a while. What would you say is the thing to turn that, I really want this into it's going to happen? What do you think is the shift for a lot of people? Because I know there's a lot of people going, that I'm stuck, or I'm this, or I'm that. What would be your advice for them?
Jeff and I talked a lot about this weekend. No matter where you are, whether you're starting right now or you're 3 years into this business and you feel stuck, you're going to have a 90-day, 120-day, 6-month period of time that you're going to look back on and say, I decided that I was going to do this. I wasn't just going to mess around with it. That you were going to get rid of all the distractions. Give you a prime example. We got in the business. I went to Georgia Tech. Some of you in the UK may not appreciate this example, but we have something called college basketball over here, and Georgia Tech was in the ACC. And when I was in college, they were in the Final Four, like the championship. 2 of the 4 years I was in college. And when I got out of college, I was like a basketball fanatic, and I didn't have any money. And the arena was sold out. The only way to get tickets was you had to donate money in order to get the right to buy tickets. So me and 3 buddies, we chipped in $4,000 to get in the donor level so we could buy tickets. We bought tickets. That was in November. I signed up for Juice Plus. I went to a meeting in December, signed up in January, and I didn't go to one basketball game that year, even though I had saved and bought money to buy those tickets. I had big plans. I was excited, but I decided I was going to go build this business. And I can look back on those 90 days, 120 days, and say, I don't know, percentage-wise, I bet 70% of my business today stems from what I did those 90 days. I couldn't give you an exact number. But at some point in time, you're going to make that decision, and it all boils down to, sorry, a plane.
Is that his dog is barking? He's got a dog barking.
Anyway, bear with me for a minute.
Is that your dog? Is that Georgia dog barking back there?
No, all the dogs up here got stung. I don't know what happened, but anyway. Anyway, so you've got to decide that if you're going to be serious about this, if you've had a 9-to-5 job or if you've been employed by someone else and you've gotten in this business, one of the hardest things is learning how to be your own boss. You've got to learn how to employ yourself. You've got to wake up with a plan every day. You can't just wake up and think it's going to happen. And so decide you're going to be your own boss, and decide is this your 90 days? I mean, if not now, then when are you going to do it? Because there will never be a time in your life that you can say, well, I'm not busy now, I'm going to do this business. You need to do it in the midst of your busyness, because that's when you're around people. So I look for busy people,
I love it. And I love that you say that. There's the day there's the day you sign up, for Juice Plus, and then there's the day you sign up and you go to work, right? Is this going to be the day that you sign up and really go to work, right, with regards to everything? So awesome. Mark Hare. Awesome. So Mark's been in the business 25 years, just celebrated his 20th wedding anniversary with his beautiful wife. And what's beautiful is that, he works a business as well with his wife. Love watching you guys. Super grateful for our friendship and getting to come up there and work Canada. We've got some new people on the line, a big Canadian team actually on the line right now that's happening in Montreal. And a couple of people coming down from other parts of Canada like Toronto to conference. So I'm excited for them to meet you and your beautiful wife. So I'd love for you to share, Mark. I know for you and Yvonne that a big thing was, especially these past 5 years, right? You found a lot of people that are getting going big time in your business as well. So would you share with everybody?
Sure. First of all, it's great to see people from the UK on the line. I actually started 25 years ago, as Lauren said, in Manchester, England. And when I went to that event, had no idea what it was about. And by the end of the event, signed up as a distributor. And just the message I heard was that you could get freedom of time and freedom of money with this business. And that just excited me. And here we are, 25 years later in beautiful Colombia, as Jeff mentioned. And that has been what's happened. The freedom to work where you want, when you want, with whom you want. But what I learned in the beginning was we still did the same thing back then, year on year, that really I don't think has changed today. And that is that you share the product with people and you end up with customers. You share the business with people and you end up with a team. And you promote, attend, and bring people to events. And if you do that, your business will grow. And that's all we've ever done. We're not superstars. We're just consistent and persistent and never stop doing that. And for years, we would sit, in the front row of conference and say, oh, God, look at all those people going NMD and other people's teams. When's it ever going to happen for us? And we just kept at it and kept at it and kept at it. And then really it's the last 5 years, 20 years on, it just really took off. And all that social media and Facebook and all these wonderful things have done is they just allow us to do those basics, those sharing the business, the product, and promote events a lot faster, a lot more efficient. Look at what we're doing here today. This is just incredible. And that's really what has been the boost for us. So I guess the message is keep it simple, be consistent, and never, ever, ever quit. One of the first things Jeff said to me, and I can still remember what he was wearing, is there's only 2 ways to fail in our business. One is never to start, and the other is to quit. Just never ever quit. And one day something will happen. Been awesome.
So what got you, what was your mindset for 20 years is a long time to stay in the game. You know what I mean? What was your mindset to just go, we're going to keep at this? That's a lot of people are like in it a couple of years, but you were doing the activity. What would you say that you increased, or what was that shift though? Because, for you with regards to your mindset, with regards to your activity, what shifted for you guys?
Well, it was quite easy because after a few years, it's pretty well unemployable. Never wanted to have a job, a job, didn't want to work for anybody else. And it was a fear that if I didn't get this together or didn't stick with it, one day that could be an option. And that was non-negotiable. Let's face it. Who wants to be, wouldn't you rather be able to work where you want to hang out and doing the things you want to do? Why would you want to be on somebody else's time schedule? So that was a fear of not ever wanting to do that, ever. And, family, friends, people that are close to you, they don't get it. We would call it goal setting. I was a big fan of Tony Robbins, and my mom would say, you're still doing that goal setting thing. And she would say to me, that's not goal setting, that's delusions of grandeur. You know, they just didn't get it. And so it was always having that dream of freedom of time, freedom of money. And guys like these constantly showing that that's what happens if you just keep at it. And we would never, ever, ever miss a conference. Over here, we call them big rock events, meaning that a big rock is something you cannot move. So we put, you know, conferences, boot camps, regionals, those are the big rocks. You design your life around those big rocks and you plan everything. And we'll get people who say, oh, I can't come to conference because whatever's going on. And I say, well, dude, you had a whole year to plan for it. So we make everything revolve around the big rock events. And, you know, we'll be touching on that when we're in Bournemouth in a week's time. I mean, I can't believe here we are, I've been living in Canada for 20 years now. And I finally get to come back and see mum and then go and do some business in Bournemouth, my own stomping grounds. And that's what this business allows you to do. It's incredible.
Awesome. I love that you said that. And another thing, it sounds like, you know, just listening to you, Mark, and maybe you guys can talk about this, is really, you know, another Tony Robbins line that we love to say, you know, who you surround yourself with is who you become. So choose wisely. So you were smart because you've really, even though, you know, you're still, you know, not getting that momentum you wanted, you hung around great mentors. You plugged into those events. You know, I know we're doing our boot camp here in January. We'd love everybody to join us here. We're hoping to have it. I know we have Katie and Luke and Jeff's going to come in via Skype. I mean, maybe you guys can come in via Zoom too. But what would you say, Jeff? I love what you said, you know, those big rocks events, the ones you can't move or that you don't move, right? Because that's what keeps it solid. That's what builds the house with us, build that strong foundation of those big rock events. Jeff, how about back to you just real quick? You know, first of all, I think that, look at Jeff, everybody's like, is that Jeff? Is that Jeff? Maybe you can share. I know it's been a T30 for you and you made a real decision. And you maybe you can share a little bit about your transformation and what that means for you with your business and why you're out there, because you don't have to be on the road, right? Right now, you can do whatever you want, but you choose to retire into this. So I'd love if you share about that.
Yeah.
A big hand. Everybody, let's see big hand. It looks amazing. So
you're going to be seeing less of me. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm going to just kind of echo what Curt and Mark were talking about. You know, when we have something on our schedule, like a convention, a big rock event, you know, that's something that's non-negotiable. And you focus on the paying activities, which is, you know, sharing a product, sharing the opportunity, sharing the story, building relationships, and building for these events. But just real quick on my story, this summer I decided to step up and raise my standards. I had let my physical mastery drop, where I had found myself, you know, not happy with the way I looked or I felt. And I felt like, you know, Jeff, you know, it's time to show up as an example, not a warning, and to walk the talk. And I guess everybody has in life, whether it's your health or it's your business or whatever it is, where you get to a point where enough's enough. You know, you reach a threshold, a breaking point, and you have a breakthrough. There's that moment in time. There's that defining moment. And, you know, for me, it was just raising the standards, not setting a goal, not going on a diet, but to make some lifestyle changes and to start drinking the complete consistently and to start, you know, it's everybody says, well, Jeff, what did you do? You know, to have this transformation, to live the mission, to be an example, to walk the talk. I said, we all know what to do. You just got to do what you know. You know, it's no secret here. So it was some lifestyle changes, some behavioral modification. It was serious with taking the Juice Plus Complete consistently every day, cleaning up the diet, increasing the exercise, and all of a sudden, things started to happen. You start to get some momentum going in a positive direction. And it's been amazing this summer. You know, one of the things I said here at this event is, you know, nothing tastes as good as healthy and fit feel, you know, and to treat your body like a temple, not an amusement park. And we all know what that means. You know, it's great to, you know, success can be a double-edged sword. You know, you have the success, but all of a sudden you find yourself, some of your standards start to drop. All of a sudden you're sitting at the table of success too long. So, you know, so I guess it really just boiled down to there was some leverage, losing my father, losing my brother from heart disease and walking around and carrying this excess weight, not living the mission myself, and to inspire you so you can inspire other people. Think about it. If you're living the mission and you feel good and you show up in a peak resourceful state, there's a better version of you to be able to go out and serve and contribute and play at a higher level and make a bigger difference and a bigger impact.
I love that. And, you know, it's funny, Jeff, because I watch you every week when I'm teaching Life Mastery, and you talk about, I mean, you look like you did, 15 years ago. I mean, everybody's responding, oh my God, I can't believe it's him. He looks so young, you know, but, you know, like you said, nothing feels as good. You do look amazing. And, you know, and it's interesting because one of your, on the mood meter that you share, as you know, at Life Mastery, you share about that one of your core values is disciplined, right? That's one of your, and driven. That's one of your ones. So you basically took a winning formula that you already know works for you, and you applied it to your health. You said, that's it. So hopefully today you guys will use this as, you know, Jeff took that, that's it. I'm done. I'm done with playing small with my health. I'm done with it. So what are you going to do for your business? One, you know, Mark, maybe we could come back to you. We talk about end of month, and you could talk a little bit more about end of month and everybody understanding why it's so important about qualifying their business and what end of month should really look like for a team to get momentum.
Absolutely. It's funny you should bring that up, because there's something I've always been trying to share with everybody for a long time. And that is, we all talk about building a qualified business. And I can remember about 3 or 4 years ago, I suggested to everybody, look, if you were to do one simple thing, it would solve everything. You know, we all know that if you go wide, that brings you income. If your business goes deep, it brings you security. And I was trying to teach, look, just aim for approximately 50 personal customers. Become what I call personal customer qualified. And what that does is, if you've got 50 customers of, say, the premium product, the fruit, veg, and vineyard, you're then going to qualify for everything. You'll qualify for performance bonus. You'll qualify for promote out bonus. You'll be in the best position if you're in a leadership position to get your business incentive bonus, your expense account. So just aim for that 50 customers. And month end is the classic example to do that, because everyone's thinking about month end and wanting to get their clubs in place, especially before, you know, a big conference. So by doing that, that also increases the pool of where your distributors are going to come from. You know, if you've got no customers and everybody you've got is just distributors, where are your new distributors going to come from? There's nothing better than a happy, raving fan customer who then eventually just can't stand it any longer. They want to share and do the same thing you're doing. So aim, my message is, get 50 customers by the end of the month. If you've got 45, get another 5. If you've had for a while and you've lost a couple, get them back again. Aim for that 50 customers at the end of every single month. And everything else takes care of itself.
And I love September with school starting and everything. It's the perfect time. You know, people are like worried about, oh my gosh, am I going to get the flu shot? No, you're going to double up on your Juice Plus, right? No, you're not going to do those things. This is the perfect time. I say that September is my favorite month, honestly, because you've got so much leverage of people keeping, you know, well, people keeping their kids well. So it's the perfect time. We got, you know, just a couple more days to really make that happen. Curt, I'm going to come back to you for the final piece.
Yes, ma'am.
I think that the big thing for me when I went to my first conference, I might cry now. Actually, you two guys were some of the first people I met at my first conference that Jeff took me to. And I've always been inspired by how you guys have just a huge family business. So maybe you can share, and you were always such a gentleman, you know, and like, even though I wasn't going to be in your organization, you know, you just made sure to introduce me to people. You introduced me to your family, and I saw your family and how long you guys have been in the business. I was like, I want that. So, you know, it's starting now with my, you know, with Joss in the business. But I'd love if you shared a little bit what's happened because of your family. So many of you that are NMDs, and what's your life like now and how that's happened because you and your wife said yes, you know, to this business.
Well, you know, we did start with small, no visions of grandeur, $1,000 a month. And I think most people actually get in our business because they buy into, you know, some amount of income, but they really have no idea how much money they can really make and what kind of business they can build. So we got started not for the money, but because my wife wanted to stay at home and what that little bitty piece of money could do. And I'd honestly say that if we quit, you know, if we had quit at that point, the fact that she was able to stay at home with our kids, it would have been worth joining this business if nothing else ever happened. And that was kind of the catalyst that got our whole family involved, is they saw how much it meant for Lori and I to have a burden in our life solved. Some people's burden is they travel too much, they never get to see their kids. Some is they live in an area where they need to put their kids in private school and they can't afford it. Or coming to a place like this, being able to take your kids on a vacation like this. And so the money allowed this, but in my mind, and really the reason I wrote a book last year, not to sell it, but the message of inspiring healthy living has allowed me to give people a message of making a life, not just a living. And so many people will go through life just managing their paycheck so they can pay their bills. And there's so much more to life than just paycheck to paycheck. And when you step into somebody's life and you show them a way out of that, and they're normally in this rut of the normal becomes acceptable until they see what's possible. And I feel like that's what we have the opportunity to do every day, is to step in and let them see that normal and what you've become accustomed to accepting is not all that's out there. And you've got a purpose and a reason for being on this planet, and you don't need to just exist. You need to go build a business that'll let you pursue that to the fullest. And that's what all we've been talking about. Once somebody decides and knows they can have that, they're unstoppable. It's like that guy, Viktor Frankl, the Nazi prison soldier. You know, he survived all kinds of crazy, terrible, unbelievable experiences of death and everything around him, but he survived. And people say, why? And he says, you know what? He said, I had plans. I wanted to live because I had plans. There was more for me. And I decided that why. It wasn't the how. He said, if the why is strong enough, the how will come. And everybody on this call right now, if you know what you want your tomorrow to look like, what we're telling you is there's a way to have that, but you got to buckle down and get it done. And that's what my family did. And we've got 500 club members in our family, and we've made it a family business. But you know what? My family is my little core family, but my family is right here. I mean, Jeff's like a brother to me. Mark's like a brother to me. You're like a sister to me. We're all in this together, and we all help each other, because if the big whole wins, we all win individually too. So thanks for asking us to be on the call, and I hope that helped a little bit.
Yes, we just have two quick questions. I think I'm just going to open up for two quick questions. I know you guys have a lot going on, but we have tons of questions. I'm going to open up for three people to a couple of these. Let's see. Sky, do you want to share your question, Sky Shepherd? Because I really don't understand your question. So, Sky?
Yeah. Good morning. I was just had a quick question about what we were talking about with getting 50 customers. Are you saying you could also advance on just customers? Is my question.
Oh.
No. You need team, but
yeah, okay.
You're focusing on 50 customers. That doesn't mean you get 50 customers at the end of the month. It means that over a period of time, you've built up 50 customers and you maintain it. When I say it takes care of everything, it means that everything that your organization has, you're qualifying to get paid the most amount on. Just taking care of everything, so there's no pressure at the end of the month. So if we focus on getting those 50 customers by the end of the month, and that becomes a benchmark or a standard, if you like, then you don't have to worry as much, and then your team will duplicate, because that's what you've done. You can basically encourage them to do the same thing. And make no mistake, if you're a sales coordinator or above, you're earning the most money on your own customers. So if you've got 50 customers, payment, you're putting your check up.
And I'm gonna add something though to that as well, because it's probably my big wound that many of you guys know about, is that somebody sold me a water filter in 1989, and I loved my water filter, but my friend never told me about the business. So make sure that when you are, getting customers, make sure you're also giving them that opportunity to be a distributor though, right? So no one told me about that, so I went out there and I was making all this money for somebody. So be smart and just say like, hey guys, there's an opportunity, for you. Also, if you're going to love this, you're going to love this product, you're going to want to share with everybody, they're going to start giving you names of people on the product. Don't be selfish there. You want to help them. Don't make them, do what I did for 17 years and say no, right? Like I got to like, oh my gosh, I can't believe somebody didn't tell me about that there was a business. So, share the product with them. Maybe Jeff, you or Curt could share about this, and then we're going to wrap it up with the final questions. So, Jeff, anything you want to share about that?
No, I think Mark covered it. I mean, that was well said. One more question, because we're running out of time. Okay. We have another call.
That's it. Okay. Anybody? Maybe that someone just wants to know the difference between the mindset of an entrepreneur and the mindset of an employee, and then we'll go. Who wants to handle that one? And then we're done.
An entrepreneur is somebody who's building something for themselves. So you take more pride and ownership in it because you know the price you're paying, the sacrifice you're making, the intensity you're investing is something that's yours. And I think the mindset of an employee is you're just doing enough to get by to please the person you're working for. So there's like a threshold, and why would you give beyond that? Because that's what you're getting paid for. And when you're an entrepreneur, you have no ceiling or no limit. So if you want to work a little bit and have a little paycheck, you can be an entrepreneur and do that too. But if you want to be an entrepreneur and have a big paycheck and change your life and change your family's future, then you need to work like you're building something that's going to change your future. It's like treat it like a hobby, treat it like a business. Eric Worre says, go pro. And there's a right and a wrong way to do this business. The employee does just what they need to do to get by. The entrepreneur does whatever it takes.
Awesome. That was a great way to frame it. Thanks, guys. I know you got to go. And we appreciate it, guys. And we'll post this recording after tonight's call. So thanks for everybody. Have a great one.
Hey, Lauren, woof, woof.
Hey, go dogs.